I'd be playing the Saburou Jinguuji games, which were hacked, butchered, and badly translated by AksysGames because they can't touch anything and not, like, destroy it. So... switch to 3DS. Yeah, you can see they're AksysGames. The thing about the Saburou Jinguuji games is that, one moment. It won't let me change anything unless I stop streaming. Am I back? Am I back yet? Looks like I'm back. The thing about the Saburou Jinguuji games is they've been in Japan since, like, the NES days. Game Center CX episode 143? 134. One of those is the Saburou Jinguuji, him playing through the NES version. AksysGames decided that, you know, brand recognition, who the fuck cares about that? And decided to license it as Jake Hunter Detective Story. Which, you know, if I wanted to find Saburou Jinguuji games, I couldn't, because they're now some whitewashed garbage. And see where it says Aspical? Aspiciae? Right above me, Auspicio? That's supposed to say Shinjuku. This is supposed to take place in Shinjuku. You know, that place in Japan. So they did one of those Phoenix Wright, it totally takes place in, the United States somewhere, which... This wouldn't be the first thing that AksysGames has butchered. They also butchered Night of the Sickle Weasel, which, they called it, like, Banshee's Cry or some bullshit. Anyway, I have no idea what Unleashed is. I take it as some skit garbage. I don't think it was called Petty Murder of a Fragile Heart originally either. Anyway, this is Detective Saburou Jinguuji. That was in Japanese before. The cop kinda looks cute. Let's corrupt him. You can kind of tell it's re-encoded so it looks a bit more crunchy. Because heaven forbid we have police tape that says, you know, has some kanji on it. Are you quite sure? We found no witnesses. No, sir. And then he looks completely different right there. You've interviewed a number of people nearby. What a beautiful place, this park. Shinjuku Central Park. Or Shinjuku... I don't know what it's called in Japanese, like the park in Shinjuku. Deep in the heart of Auspicio, totally not Shinjuku! Oh, totally not Japan. Very well, I believe I understand the situation, officer. Carry on. I can smell the warm odor of fresh cut grass. Summer was coming! I'm afraid it may prove difficult for us to discover who did this to you, my dear. I know exactly who did it. Your life ended too soon. I only hope you have found your way to a better place. The beauty of the park faded away around the crumpled body laid before me. I think it originally was called like something park murder case. Something park murder case. The Jinguuji DA. Huh? They changed her name to Yulia. I think her name was Yoko. Cause you know, like everyone in the United States has perfectly normal white names. Like Yulia. Like Yoko, who might be from California because her family was Japanese and, you know, went to California. I disappeared for a second. Gaze upon the magic. No, I haven't updated, yet, because it's just a minor fix. Doesn't actually fix the, like, what's going on. Like, that's what I hate about this, is, like, it assumes that Japanese names have no place in America, and America's supposed to be, like, the melting pot of cultures and stuff, and it's like, if it's the melting pot of cultures, why are you censoring people's names? More coffee, sir? Oh. Seems like I drank it all. He actually is drinking coffee. I checked the Japanese and it is kohi. I can't imagine how that escaped me. Something on your mind? Anyway, in Japan, there's like over 20 of these things. The most recent is actually Daedalus, which was alternate J. Connor Daedalus, so where they actually kept the name, the Japanese names. Probably because they found out that, you know, translating it as Jake Hunter was, like, not selling because people... The only people that would know these and want to be into these already know it by, Jinguuji Saburou Jinguuji. Only thinking about the agency. Just thinking about how long I've been in this line. The original and on the NES had like this start you out in the park of like a little RPG top-down thing, which I think they got rid of here. You've been in business for some time before you hired me, right? Not for long, and it was looking like I wasn't going to be in it for much longer when you showed up. The Hunter Detective Agency was all about to go belly up when you walked through that door. A month later and I would have been out on my ass. You always say the nicest things. Glamorous interior of the Hunter Detective Agency, deep in the dingy heart of the Terpudio district. They're really trying here. My office and my apartment. Not a very classy joint, but it's quiet and, let's face it, cheap. Cigs and booze ain't free. My building squats at the end of one of Terpudio. I really just want to go back in and retranslate all the names to what the original ones were, because it's just easier to say. Hey, Changeling, how goes? Like a crotchety old geezer squinting down at the drawing. They're definitely trying for a noir thing here. A lot of people got a lot of opinions about this town, but I can't say I've ever managed to find another one like this. For what it's worth. Outside of this door is the old wooden stairwell leading up to my office. So as long as they're on the level, my clients usually come through the door. Unfortunately, there haven't been many clients of either sort in a while. Let's talk about me. Hey, I'm gonna call her Yoko. Hey, Yoko. How would you describe me? Let me see. I don't believe I can sum up you in one word. Maybe 3 words? Alright. This whole avatar business is, I had it perfect, and then it didn't. It stopped working. Oh, it turned off the important point. Actually turned off the mouth tracking. I was gonna say the bronze loader I was excited for is on a holding pattern because the client who commissioned it from my client is still sitting on it. We didn't ask for one word, we asked for a paragraph. Agency. How are the books looking? We had quite a few clients a couple months back. Must be doing okay, right? Well, yes, more or less. I'm just happy we're no longer in the red. You should be too, sir. We're only like $1 over red. Hey, Yoko. How would you describe yourself? Me? Well, I'm a patient person. A very patient person. I think I actually have to look at her. I forget what her last name was. Yoko, the only other person on payroll besides myself. Back then, she'd only been with me a year or so, but she was already as important to the agency as good scotch. If you can't tell, I'm a drunk. Because all good detectives are drunks. I'm hoping to get some more chainmail orders soon, though. I should probably renovate the site to reflect that I'm supplying rings, though. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Is there something wrong with my face, sir? You're staring at me? Yeah. Just as I was reaching for my last cig, I heard a distinctive clomp of a familiar pair of heavy feet on the door outside, on the stairs outside my door. I could hear the faint, heavy breathing of a big old man as the door swung open. I'd recognize that old geezer anywhere. He looks different in the NES game. I forget what his name in the NES game is, as well. Making what a respectable police officer like doing. Respectable police officer like yourself doing in a place like this. It couldn't be that you couldn't solve the case because, you know, police and all that. Saburou, I'm here on business. There's been a murder. I had to admit, it'd been a while since I'd seen him like this. Hey, King, how would you describe yourself? Bruno, my boy, this really isn't the time. This is ale, man. I think in the NES version, I'm not sure if it's in here on one of these, but if you ask him his alibi, he gets angry. Like, how could you think that I did it? And then, like, the game ends. Got a feeling it's a little more than that. How about you level with me? A young woman was found dead this morning in Shinjuku Central Park. We haven't confirmed anything, but I suspect murder. I've got a dreadful feeling this case is going to get a great deal worse before it gets better. I know, she had strangulation marks, and she's in the middle of a park with no trees around, so pretty sure it's murder. I mean, did she, like, hang herself outside of an airplane? And then the rope snapped? Highly unlikely. So I thought I'd see if I could bring you in before things get too complicated, because, like, we can't do shit. We're police. Victim was, by the name of, I think her name was Yukino or Yukiko? I could be wrong. 7 a.m. this morning, the park groundskeeper found her body on the lawn of Shinjuku Central Park. So 7 a.m. Clearly, she accidentally tripped around some rope for 5 minutes that disappeared after she died. Yes! This is a ghost haunting. Fortunately, we don't know much about her as yet. Her driver's license was discovered on her person, but we know her name and address, but little else. She was found wearing clothes that led me to believe she may have been a hostess at a bar. They say a hostess at a bar. She actually worked at a hostess club, which in Japan, basically, men go into these hostess clubs to be served drinks and food by women who, like, sit next to them. They also have host clubs, too. Here, Saburou, I have a picture of the unfortunate young woman. Hold on to it. You may find some use for it in your investigation. Investigated now, but our preliminary investigation suggests that strangulation was the cause of death. Miss Martin is a forensics lead on the case, so she should be able to tell you more. She should be in the crime lab at the station. Witnesses. I must say, Saburou, that's the odd thing about this case. As you know quite well, there are a number of transients living in Shinjuku Central Park. A number of them seem to camp near the area where the body was found, but none of our interviews turned up any witnesses to her murder. Does that strike you as rather odd? Let me get this straight, old man. You're saying you want me to take over your case? I'm afraid that's correct. The lack of witnesses has me worried, but more than that, I've just got a bad feeling about this one. I'm worried it may be more than I can handle, so I was hoping to secure your assistance. What do you say, Saburou, old boy? Will you accept my request? Yeah, sure. What if I just said no way? Let me drop a save here. Nah. Pulling your tough cases off on me? Come on, King, don't try and feed me that baloney. Can't force you to do anything, Jake, but it saddens me to hear you say that. Hang on, King, don't split just yet. Just give me a minute to wrap my head around this, okay? But thou must? Alright, I don't know if that does anything, so I'm gonna load state. But thou must. Alright, King, but you owe me one? Yep, but thou must. Damn you, man. Really? No, I'm actually 3 weasels in a trench coat, but you didn't hear that from me. That's a load off my mind. I don't know how to thank you, Saburou. Hey, let's not count our chickens before they've hatched. Don't be ridiculous. In this kind of case, I doubt the police will be of much use to anyone. I'm counting on you, Saburou. What am I gonna do? He's putting up a good front, but I've known King long enough to know when he's got himself all balled up over a case. King's a good guy and a great cop, but I don't know how a man can be on the force for 30 years and still feel for every victim. Maybe that's why he's a cop and I'm just a private dick. Unlike those not-so-private dicks. I keep my dick very much private. I think he's called a detective instead of a cop, which I guess there's not much difference, but it's the distinction between person that goes around like actually arresting the people and person that actually like looks at all the evidence and finds the perpetrator. Hey Lexi, how goes? The murder. Personally, I'd be fine with keeping detectives, but abolishing patrol cops? Oh yeah, definitely. Like, detectives actually do well if they're good detectives. They actually do the work. They will sit there and put like the pieces of, oh, this person couldn't have been here because of this, but we have this, so that person, it could have been that person, you know, like, it's not possible they could have gotten through here because there was no mud all over the place. No pressure to be known, you're allowed to advertise your streams on my server, right? Yeah, I just forgot. I was kind of like, this guy looks like David Tennant. A little bit. Maybe just a bit wide on the jaw, but yeah. I guess I just didn't want to bother anybody, is the way I feel. Like, oh, I could put my stream there, but everybody's probably doing some, like, Halloween stuff, so... That park's always full of bums. Doesn't seem right that nobody saw that girl get done in. Well, I know exactly how she was killed. And Lexi, you know exactly how she was killed, and it's some kind of Detective Conan bullshit. Got more of a Dolph Lundgren vibe myself. Yeah, a little bit of that. Like, what if Dolph Lundgren and David Tennant had a kid? Beside, was a bird like... Wow. Beside, what was a woman like her doing in a place like that all by her lonesome? It's actually a very big insult to call a woman a bird. I move yet? Let's move nowhere! We are very much in not Shinjuku, totally not set in Japan, America. Like, I think that's the Yokohama Police Department right there, or the Tokugawa. Can't really read the pixels. Yeah, but you know, very much American. We're totally American here. Totally not in Japan. I took yesterday off that job. I cut my hours, I just couldn't even with working that day. Yeah, I understand. Alright, no sense in putting off the inevitable. Keep the home fires burning. Yes, sir. Wait, Saburou. Come on, King, I was all fired up. One of my colleagues, Vincent Lewis, was inquiring about you. I don't know what that guy's original name was either. He'd like to meet you sometime. If you do go by the station, would you be so kind as to pay him a visit? Since my credit cards are paid off, I might just quit it outright. I mean, it'd save on your mental health, right? Inquiring about me? What did you tell him, King? Oh, don't be such a wet blanket. Vincent's a good man. Fine. How about you introduce us sometime then? It's save a ton on gas. Well, there you go. They added a lot more exposition than the NES game had. Thank you, Saburou. You two chaps hit it off. Maybe you can go out for a couple drinks or something, eh? Left the office and started making my way towards the Alta building. I don't really know why I felt like going there, but my intuition is usually pretty on the money, and I figured it was worth a shot. As I lit up, I wondered what I was hoping to find at the Alta. Is this Akiba? This looks like... or wait, no, it is. It's Shinjuku. Maybe it's... Shibuya? I remember this from Digimon. That building right there. I think it's Shinjuku. Because I think this is the first place you go in Digimon. But also, Shibuya, I think you go in from, like, the side or something? Like, it kind of all looks alike because they have all those crosswalks with the little, posts that stick up, but this is definitely from Digimon. So it's either Shibuya or Shinjuku. You just code, Jake is gay. Maybe? Or, you know, nudge nudge, like detective talk, wink wink, nothing to see here. We're totally, detectives. Manly detectives. Well, I think this is Shinjuku because I don't think it's Shibuya. Shibuya would have the scramble, which looks different. A seemingly limitless stream of humanity bustling to and fro, filling the streets and sidewalks. Tens of thousands of people walk through this intersection every day. A huge television screen loomed over the crowds, a one-way window into another world. Kids stared at their phones, killing time while they waited for lovers or friends. In regards to Detective Conan, I remember watching some episodes and the contrivances of that case make Sherlock look downright straightforward. Yeah, like, one of the ones was like, there was a piece of string going through, like, a keyhole or under the door to, like, pull on a thing, to do a thing, you know, like, what do they call them? They call them, like, Pythagoras, Pythagoras is, something in Japan. They call him something different over here. And it was like... And of course Conan figures it out. Like, how the fuck would you know that there was, like, a string that did a thing, that then there was a key, and then, like, most of it's, like, supposition, and he just badgers the witness to break down and confess. Yeah, that's it. Rube Goldberg machine. As I lit up a new cigarette, I thought to myself that this was something very like the beating heart of Auspicio. Totally not Japan. Totally not Tokyo. The streets and sidewalks are filled with every kind of person imaginable. What might seem odd elsewhere was pretty much par for the course at the not in probably Shinjuku building. With totally English words around it. With its vibrant colors, a huge screen almost seemed more real than the city that housed it. Like always, it was that strange color between blue and gray. Which is like the normal now in video games, to be blue and gray if they're not like dark and brown. Glad localization teams don't do this so much. Don't do this stuff so much anymore. Aksys does. Aksys is the one that does do this much. Because this is a DS game, which was like 2015, 2016? Maybe it was 2011. And then they did it to the 3DS game. And then they kind of retroactively didn't do it to the Switch game. Probably because at that point they figured out that people really didn't like it when you totally try and take a Japanese setting and cram it into fake USA. The Jelly Donuts of the Pokemon show, yup. They still censor kids' TV though. They changed like some of the names from like if his name is Toru, they'll change it to like Tony or something. Or sometimes in the Yu-Gi-Oh they'll keep the main character's name like Yuma, or they'll keep it Japanese but all his friends are suddenly like Tony and like Jimmy and Brooklyn Rage. Jonochi. Jonochi is Japanese. What was his English name? Joey? Joey Wheeler? Although sometimes they'll like translate a specific Japanese food to like just noodles or soup or something. You Brooklyn Rage. I get the Brooklyn Rage. Which was totally making fun of the fact that he was totally not from Brooklyn. That's the totally not Shinjuku, we're in America, USA for you. I'm surprised that they didn't like censor the backdrop here, but they censored the police tape. Like, why? Why? I mean, the police tape shows up for like 2 seconds. It's always some sort of mishmash of color, just like the city itself. I decided to leave the totally not Shinjuku building and go to the totally not Toku something prefecture police station. They did this to Atlas did this to Devil Children and called it Demi Kids, and they made it even more confusing with between like Dem, Lem, and the names of the different worlds instead of Sekai, Makai, and Tenkai. Which Sekai could have been Earth. They could have just left Makai as is and Tenkai as is. Or, you know, just say it's Earth and the Dark Realm and then the Light Realm. But they called it like Dem and Lem and stuff, and it just made no sense. I've been so far in my own head that I almost walked right past the police station. With jurisdiction over a district like, Tripudio, yeah, that's what it totally says up there in, like, the English. Totally doesn't say, like, Togawa? Something. It was no surprise that the station was busy as a hive full of black and white bees. Even though they're probably wearing blue and white. Or something. Cops, lawyers, thugs, civilians, a teeming mass of humanity squeezed through the doors, pushing a second torrent back out into the street. This ancient building had been King's home away from home going on for 30 years. To this day, I still don't know how the old man lasted this long. He might have been a vampire. Sure enough, it was the door to the... I just can't keep this up. It's totally not whatever fake name they make for this place. Anybody who was on the level had to head through these doors to get into the building. I thought King had said something about Miss Martin in the crime lab. I figured this would be a good place to start as any. I need to talk to the kid at the reception desk before I started wandering around the police station. I had a feeling the cops wouldn't take too kindly to a civilian traipsing about their station. It said road safety campaign. That totally says road safety campaign. Unless they're talking about like the little whiteboard to the bottom left. Being a cop ain't easy. Police station's never a very welcoming place, but that day it felt like the whole place was on edge. I could see a whole mess of dark clouds gathering on the horizon. It looked like rain was on the way. I had been to this station plenty of times, not always for good reasons, but it was rare that day it felt as tense as it did then. Hey, it was that cute officer in the, video we saw that looks totally different in his character art. And not as cute. You'd like to visit Miss Martin at the crime laboratory? Do you have an appointment today, sir? I felt like he was giving me a line, but I laid out the facts for the cop anyway. I understand. I'll let her know you're here, and she should be with you in a moment. I'm sorry, but Miss Martin said that she wasn't expecting you. Is that so? Fine, can you just get Detective Kingsley on the line? It seems Detective Kingsley isn't in right now. I'm sorry, but without proper authorization, I can't let you through here. Oh. What do I do now? Talk to the no. Inspect the officer. Can't inspect the officer. They won't let me in, will they? Nah, I'd gone to the trouble of coming here. I figured I might as well poke around a little bit before I split. I kind of remember at this point, like in the NES game, you already know about like the old guy that died of cancer and her that that died on the same day, the same night. Like, there's a guy that died of cancer. That was supposedly her father? As I was standing in front of the station trying to figure out what to do, I noticed a middle-aged man checking me out. Something in my gut told me he was the Fuzz. I was about to book it when he opened his mouth. Hey, you're Jake, aren't you? What? How do you know my name? Ha ha ha, I knew it. You're just like King said. King, oh, you shouldn't sneak up on a fella like that. Who was he, the suspect? Probably King's calling. Oh, you know, just some random baseball fan. Well, who the heck did you think I was? Shoot, I haven't introduced myself, have I? I'm Vincent Lewis, a totally normal USA American and fake USAville. One of the detectives in King's investigation. Should have figured out that out earlier as I call myself a detective. Now that we've gotten the formalities out of the way, do you think I could ask for a favor? I just need a little help from one of Auspicio's finest. Huh? Well, tell me what you need, son, and I'll see what I can do. What did I need help with? Crime lab. I see you trying to get into the crime lab, eh, son? Yeah, I'm kinda in a pinch. If you can get me in, I'll owe you one. No problem, leave it to me. Oh, by the way, next time you see King, tell that old Cody needs to start carrying a cell phone. By the way, when this game came out back in like the 80s, there were no cell phones. I can never get a hold of him when I really need to. Well then, I'll go have a talk with the receptionist for you, alright, son? Thanks, Mr. Lewis, I owe you one. Don't worry about it. You can just buy me a drink next time. What's wrong? Do you need something? If you need to go to the station, feel free. Alright, I guess we can move now. I finally stepped through the door and took a moment to light up while taking a look around the inside of the police station. The tension in the room was so thick you could have cut it with a knife and spread it on your toast, and that would have been kind of disgusting. I took off at a brisk trot in the direction of the crime lab, none too keen on staying in that lobby any longer than I had to. I stepped through the door of the crime lab and stuffed my cigarette into the crowded ashtray on the front desk. Remember when ashtrays happened? I'd never been in the lab before, but I've always seen it in my head as a dim room stuffed full of the odd contraptions and scientific papers. It wasn't quite the way I'd pictured it. The smoke from my dead cigarette was rising from the ashtray when at the most gorgeous person I'd ever seen in the lab saddled up to me. Pardon me, but are you Jake? Yeah, that's my name. You know, this is the second time today I've been asked that, although I'm much happier to hear it from you. No good, I thought so. Sorry about before. Mr. Kingsley told me to come by, but would you believe it? I completely forgot your name, so... I take it I have the pleasure of speaking to Miss Martin, then? That's right. I'm totally American name Martin. But feel free to call me Samantha or Sam. Some people call me Sam. I just started here last month. It's just been one crisis after another. In fact, I think I slept here last night. I woke up here at least. You seem awfully chipper for a gal who's been put through the ringer. Ha ha ha. Well, just between the two of us, I don't really think of it as work. It's way too much fun. So I'm guessing you want to hear about Mary Taylor, right, Mr. Jinguuji? A list of Auspicio's once most wanted. A couple of rows of ugly mugs stare down from me at the wall. Like every other part of the station, the reception counter was abuzz with activity. I got the feeling it was a little noisier here than usual, probably because of the girl in the park. She had a sideways smile and eyes that sparkled with curiosity. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but she was a bit of an odd person. Probably perfectly normal. I hadn't noticed the dark circles under her eyes when she walked up, or her slightly unkempt hair, but she was a little... She was, nicely put together. Dressed. I'm totally a fucking misogynist cop. You know those type that, like, call women sweetheart and bullshit like that. Excuse me? Oh, she's a scientist. She can't be beautiful. Also, that's not how totem poles work. There ever was a person born for their job, it was Sam. She looks fine! God, this game. I don't forget. I don't remember that in the NES game. I think I might have been the medical examiner was a dude, so we didn't get into, oh my god, she's so hideous because she's dressed for her work and not for entertaining men. You know, it's a video game made by dudes. All women have to entertain men. Ugh. Okay, that's the most wanted. No! Bad! Stop! Can I look around? Like, I'm not sure how much of this is AksysGames just making him sound like a piece of shit, and how much in the original Japanese he was a piece of shit. Well, this is a police station. Meta isn't something new. I've only been here a month and I'm already used to it. He suddenly has an accent. Explosions on the neck indicate her windpipe was forced shut and she died from asphyxiation. I guess you could say she was strangled, that doesn't sound very professional. Strangulation is professional. We've estimated the time of death to be around midnight last night. Of course, that's from a liver attempt taken when we found the body and assumed she was killed and left in the park. She was not killed in the park. She was killed somewhere else and moved to refrigerated, and the time of death could be, well, anything, really. If you want my opinion, though, I think midnight is pretty close. If you don't mind my asking, Mr. Detective, where were you around midnight last night? Based on the bruising on the neck, the criminal's height is around 5'9" with over 15 kilograms per centimeter squared of grip strength. Why would you say 5'9" inches in feet and then switch to the metric system for grip strength? The criminal's probably male. Yes, the criminal is indeed male. Based on the bruising on the neck, the criminal... Okay, that's the profile. I thought it might have been like the... Like, you know, he was a loner that liked to sit in the dark and play video games and eat chips. We found a number of effects at the scene. They appear to be undamaged. It doesn't look like the murderer even touched them. The clothes are in perfect shape, too. It doesn't seem like there was any struggle. What seems a little puzzling, at least to me. All the effects we recovered from the scene are on the shelf over there. If you'd like to take a look at them, Mr. Jinguuji. We've already finished processing them. I pulled on the latex gloves Sam handed me and started to pick through the victim's belongings. Even as long as I've been doing this job, I have never gotten used to the touching of the things a victim touched. Because they got cooties on them. It was a pretty ritzy purse, but there was nothing in it aside from a wallet and an accessory pouch and a cosmetics case. Didn't look like there was any cash missing. She had her driver's license in there as well. As I pulled out my notepad to take down the girl's address, Sam guessed my intention. Oh, here, this is my number. If you go to a house, call me so I can let the officer on site know that you're coming. Usually I had to work a little harder for a girl's number, because all women are girls to me because I'm a creep. But I wasn't gonna look this gift horse in the mouth. Like, she gave you the number for professional work and you're plotting on you not using it professionally. I had a feeling Sam's number would come in handy before this is all over. Her clothes were in pretty good shape for having been on a murder victim. Pretty colorful though. They looked expensive, but they weren't exactly the kind of clothes you'd see on the street. A little too flashy for most people. In the accessories pouch was a tissue packet, a handkerchief, some pencils, and a cell phone. Rumor had it that those who keep their cell phones in an accessory pouch tend to have certain occupations. I think it is kind of like a thing that people assume that hostesses at hostess bars are also sex workers. And some might be, some might not be. We lucked out. The killer hadn't taken her cell phone. In this day and age, people kept everything in their phones. It was also a flip phone, which even at the time this game was made was kind of old-fashioned. This tiny piece of plastic and metal just might be the biggest lead in the case, but I was lucky the phone would tell me who was close to her. Of course, there was a chance that she'd barely used her phone, or maybe she didn't have one, like King, and was borrowing this one. To my amazement, she had over 400 contacts. It looked like someone had been quite the social butterfly when she was... I don't remember... Well, there was no cell phone in the NES game. And I remember you had to find out about that she has a boyfriend by, harassing some students. If you need that, feel free to take it. I've already copied all the information that was on it to my computer. Mr. Kingley was probably right. That thing's gonna do a lot more good with you than it is with the police. Glad to know I'm so highly regarded. But come on, what makes you think the cops are going to trust a guy like me with evidence from a homicide case? Oh, I didn't expect you to be concerned about that. Hey, I'm just looking out for you. If it gets out that you're passing out evidence to some private dick, you're gonna be up a creek. You don't need to worry about me, Mr. Jinguuji. I may have only been here on a month, but there's no one in this department with the balls to fire me. Because I, like, chopped them all off on one time. That's why I still have my job. I won't worry about King either. I honestly don't think the detectives could even function without him. Besides, only the three of us are going to know. Well, if that's the case, I suppose I don't mind if I do take this. It'll be a big help. And that was how I got my hands on Mary Taylor's cell phone. I knew it'd come in handy, but I couldn't have guessed just how much. I'd seen enough. I set down the girl's effects and pulled off the latex gloves. Finished already? So I guess in this they're like, yeah, you know, there's, you can get more information out of the person. Doesn't look like the murderer even touched them. Her clothes are in perfect shape too. Doesn't seem like there was any struggle, which seems a little puzzling, at least to, me. All the effects were recovered from the scene are on the shelf over there. If you'd like to take a look at them, Mr. Jinguuji, we've already finished processing them. If you find something interesting, bring it back to the lab, and I'd love to learn any sort of experiments on it. If I find anything interesting, I'll be here to bring it back so you can give it a good once-over. Yeah, let's go to the park. Thanks for everything. You've been real nice. You've given me a lot to think on, so I figure it's time I was moving on. I got a feeling we'll be seeing each other again soon. Anytime you want, Mr. Jinguuji. Being the piece of shit that I am, I closed the door softly behind me as I left the crime lab. Stepped up to the park entrance just as my cigarette hit the butt. I flicked it away and pulled out another as I surveyed the area. Sitting in the middle of a drab gray city, the vibrant green of the park almost hurts the eyes. It's hard to believe there's a place like this and totally not a city in Japan. It's one of the few places free of the hustle and bustle and stress of a city life. It was a damn shame a murder had to ruin all that. Well, let me tell you about, like, there's a specific park in, I think, New York? Or maybe New Jersey, to where, like, there's dead bodies everywhere because that's just the place that everybody puts them, is in that park. As I looked around the park, a man with a large broom caught my attention. I figured he had to be the park's groundskeeper. A map of the park. Jinguuji Central Park eats up a huge chunk of real estate right in the middle of the city. I don't know why half of it isn't condos by now, because I don't think they really have condos in Japan. I knew from King that the scene of the crime was right down that path, but I couldn't see it from where I was. There were too many trees in the way. The park's groundskeeper. King told me this guy had been the first person to find Mary Taylor's body. I figured it couldn't hurt to ask him about it. I didn't know what I was expecting to find. I really gotten desperate enough to start digging through this. But you never know, actually, because the trash could hold various clues. I forget what this guy was named in the original version. I think he's a minor player anyways. Murder. I don't want to remember anything about it, to be honest with you. I found out while I was making my early morning rounds. I was walking around the park as usual when I saw something strange on the grass. First I thought it was just garbage someone had dumped in the park, but when I took a closer look, I saw that was a woman's body. I couldn't believe it. I've never seen a dead person. Although this might happen once a day, but I still wasn't prepared for it. I felt so bad for her. I hope the bastards did this gets caught soon. It was quiet. The park's always quiet that early in the morning. There were a few homeless people wandering around. I found her while I was making my early morning rounds around 7 8. So if she was killed at 12, she'd been there for 7 hours. There was nothing out of the ordinary until I found the poor girl's body. He's fighting over who it was who did this. She looked like she was just sleeping so peacefully. Horrible that she had to die, but at least she didn't look like she was in pain when she died. There have been small groups all over the park. Each one has their own territory. So they mostly keep to the same areas. Yeah. They get spooked pretty easily, though. Go easy on them. There are a couple of incidents with the cops in the last few years, so they're pretty wary of any sort of law enforcement. Thanks, pal. I'll keep that in mind. Moved to the crime scene. I had a hunch that there was more— What?! It was quiet. The park's always quiet that early in the morning. There were a few homeless people wandering around. Body. Alright, she looked like she was just sleeping. A group of 3, Taggart, Aldenberg, and Stevenson, live in the area next to the crime scene. Ever since the murder, they're the only ones who even go near the park, that part of the park. The 3 of them are always together. They're probably around the crime scene somewhere. Thanks, pal. Like guy who's on the up and up. I think these were the 3 students you had to harass. I stuck a cigarette between my teeth and trudged off down the road. Before long, the trees opened up and I found myself in a secluded clearing. In Jinguuji Central Park, a woman had died here just the night before. I was only a couple hundred yards away from the park entrance, but I couldn't see through the trees. The tents and boxes of the park's more permanent residents blended into the tree line like they belong there. Let's just look around. I see a couple homeless people wandering around this part of the park. The groundspeople had told me they generally kept to their own turf and didn't mingle much. In other words, a couple of these ragamuffins should have been around when that girl bought the farm. The grass where she'd been laying was still flat, and the area around it was trampled by the rough feet of the cops. The groundskeeper had told me it looked like she was just sleeping when he found her. Out the corner of my eye, I noticed a couple of scruffy-looking individuals staring at me intently. I figured they had to be the 3 people the groundskeeper had mentioned. I had a feeling they weren't going to make it easy for me, but I knew I had to try talking to them anyway. I'm not done looking at shit. Trees and thick undergrowth encloses this part of the park. Frantic as totally not a place in Japan can be, I always found the park to be a relaxing place. It would be a while before I found the park a relaxing place again. I wonder if they edited the profiles to look more quote-unquote American. By that I mean white. I'll have to check. Moida, I don't know anything about that. Please leave us alone. I don't know. I don't know anything about any murder. Why should I tell you anything? I told you I don't know. I really don't know anything. Please leave us alone. Hey, who do you think you are? When I say I don't know, it means I don't know. I hate the fact that they changed it from the students to the homeless people. Because intimidating homeless people is considered fine and perfect, but intimidating students is wrong, even though that's bullshit. Don't blame us, I don't know anything. You don't belong here. Mind your own business. Drop it already, asshole. You can't treat us like this. Almost or now, we still got rights. Don't tell them anything, alright? I was getting nowhere fast. I figured it'd be best to give them some time to cool down, then come back and talk to them again. I wasn't gonna get anything out of them. The way they acted around me had me curious, but it was rapidly becoming clear I wasn't going to get anything out of them. Okarina-sai! Thanks, Yoko. How did the investigation go today? I think I've picked up a few leads. We're gonna have to go have a smoke and try to make sense of them. Alright! The coffee should be done in just a moment. Would you like a cup? That sounds great, thanks. I dug out my lighter as Yoko walked back to the kitchen and lit up. Ah, nothing like a good smoke to make you feel right as rain. All the tension just melts away as I watch the smoke curl upward in the afternoon sunlight. I started to mull over everything that had happened. Alright. Well, that's been censored, obviously. He named his cell phone Vera. Next to Yuli, next to Yoko, she's the most important woman in my life. Jesus Christ. I'm pretty sure in the Japanese it's just my cell phone. Like, I'm pretty sure AksysGames just took up, like, the totally asshole noir detective, like, over what was already there in the original. Like, I don't think these think segments were in the, they weren't in the NES game. You basically went around until you got a clue, and then you went back to the office and called in the suspect, and you interviewed people. Interviewed the suspects. And then it was like, you had to go intimidate some students to find out you had a boyfriend, and then you talked to the boyfriend, and then, like, there's also a secretary to one of her father person that you talk to, and it turns out that her and the boyfriend were in cahoots. When was the body found? Early morning. It was the groundskeeper? 12 a.m. Let's be honest with myself, I had no idea. Seemed unnatural. Seemed a little odd that nothing had turned up. Yeah, there'd also be like when you get in the NES version, when you got like a clue, it'd make a little chime. It was something else that had been bothering me. Based on the victim's clothing, it seemed likely that she was a hostess at a hostess bar. Must have known a lot of people. Business card? It was looking like I'd been paying a second visit to the park. I figured it couldn't hurt to stop by Mary's apartment either. I needed to know what was going on with those homeless people and why Mary didn't have a business card case. Just as I was about to put out my cigarette and take a drink of the coffee Yoko was handing to me, a sharp noise shattered the afternoon tranquility of my office like a bullet into a pane of glass. Took me a few seconds to realize it was coming from my pocket from the cell phone Sam had taken off of Mary's body. Call for a dead woman. I couldn't get the phone out of my pocket fast enough. This call could be the break I needed. But it was only a text message. The text messages don't, like, ring. You just usually get, like, whatever the song is that you have, like once it'll go like doo-doo, and if you get another one it'll go doo-doo, and if you get someone sending you 500 then it will go like doo-doo, 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 and then you block them. It was only a test message and the phone showed only an address for the sender, no name. My cigarette had gone out, but I kept the cold butt clamped in my teeth as I scrolled down to the message. Like the best text messages, it was succinct. Help. Tasukete! To be continued. Why? Is that where it, like, saves the game or something? Can I save the game? I can save the game. Like, I'm pretty sure that the way Japanese kind of noir cops go is different than the way US noir cops go. And trying to force one into the other is just very blah. A girl named Mary Taylor was murdered in, totally not in Japan Park. Just as the day was drawing to a close, a dead girl's phone rang with an urgent message. Just a single word. Help. I'd been staring at the thing and then it just totally cut to this. What the hell? I think it loaded my, save. What? No! What are these passwords for? Please tell me I can get a password to go back. Blah. There we go. Let me get the captions back. Whoop. Ew. Nope. Damn it! Well, this is game over. Can I say, well... See if I can zoom through this. I just saved it too. Alright. I like to think you'll be as much of a gentleman when you're his age, but I'm not holding my breath. I am not holding my breath either. I don't think we got in. I think we're supposed to go here. Yum. Okay, let's just look around. Yeah, there we go. So, what the heck are you talking about, son? You're totally the suspect. Let's just go to the crime lab. There we go, victim stuff. And inspect victim stuff? And then... accessory pouch. Cell phone. And then... and then talk to her again? And then we went to the park? Let's talk to the groundskeeper. Another scene. Body. And people. The crime scene. There we go. No. There we go. And then... the office? Early morning, groundskeeper. Alright, we're back to where we were. Saving the state this time. And then saving the game. I'd been staring at it for hours, but I still couldn't puzzle out what it meant. Sam had been able to determine that it had been sent over the internet, not from another phone. Okay, so in Japan, the way short messages worked is that it was email. Like, they sent it to your email. That's the way the short messages worked in Japan. Over here, it was like a separate system than email. But the cops couldn't trace the sender. Which, honestly, you should be able to trace the sender. He said this case wouldn't be a walk at the park. I was beginning to think he'd been right. Get it? Walk in the park? The murder takes place in a... Why aren't you laughing? I lit a cigarette. Smoking. I can smoke whenever I want? Yeah, that's okay. Nothing of a nice long relaxed smoke in the office. Good morning, sir. Morning. How's the investigation going, sir? Could be going a lot better. Sorry to hear that. So what are your plans for today, sir? Anything exciting? Figured I'd swing by the park again and then see what I can find at Mary's old apartment. I see. So you should have this whole thing wrapped up in a couple of hours, right? Is the Pope Catholic? No, the Pope's capitalist, not Catholic. Of course I will. Good thing I don't charge by the hour. That Catholic thing is definitely not in the Japanese one. See the park. The apartment. Alright, I'm off. Look at the place for me. I can think of nothing I would enjoy more, sir. I'm starting to get the feeling that she's saying this all sarcastically. I stuck a cigarette between my teeth and trudged off toward Mary's apartment, hoping he'd give up some kind of useful secret. Found Mary Taylor's apartment nestled quietly between a number of equally nondescript buildings. Yeah, this is what typical Japanese apartments look like. The first chance I'd had to find out something about what the girl had been like before she died. But before I went inside, there was something I needed to do. Smoke. Yeah, I lit a cigarette. Try interviewing them first. Mary's apartment stood before me. What did I want to do? Inspect. Interview who? There's nobody out here. I had the street over the top of my lighter. It looked empty, but just as I was finishing my cigarette, I noticed two middle-aged women stepping out of the door, beginning chatting in front of Mary's building. What did I want to do? Talk, I guess? What did I want to talk about? Mary Taylor. Oh my, you mean the poor girl who was murdered? Such a terrible shame, she was so young. I live in the apartment down the street, so I've never actually talked to her. The way they make it sound is like she was 10 or something when she was like 25 or 20 something. Wait, who are you? Talk about me. What? A detective? Oh my goodness, I've never seen a real detective before. How exciting! Oh my. Mr. Detective, I am not a suspect, am I? I've never even talked to her. How could I possibly be connected to this? You can't really think I'm a suspect. You're unbelievable. I didn't say anything. Oh my goodness, that is inappropriate, sir. You should know that I'm a married woman. Well, I never. Let me see. My neighbor Shelley lost a lot of weight last month. That's not what I'm talking about. I don't know how she did it. Maybe it was that orange juice that... It didn't sound like she was going to be able to tell me anything about Mary. I watched the minutes tick by on my watch as the woman prattled on. It was almost hypnotic. Oh, that's right. You want to know about Mary? She used to live next door. She was such a nice girl. I don't know who did this to her, but it's so horrible. She was always working so hard despite her condition. Her condition? I'm afraid I don't know much about it. Like I said, I didn't know her that well, but I heard she had some kind of heart condition. She did tell me once that sometimes when it was bad, she couldn't move at all. Let me think. Well, this strange man came by her apartment a few times last month. Oh, he didn't look like a criminal or anything. It couldn't have been him. Actually, he looked like the exact opposite of a criminal. Which is a criminal. How should I put it? He looked very professional. It looked like that was about all the useful information I was gonna get out of them. But if I didn't scram right quick, I was gonna get roped into listening to another story about her kids. Well then, I was about to head to her room when I remembered. I was damn sure there was someone I was supposed to call before I went in, but who? Sam. Pretty sure it was Sam. She told me to give her a ring before I gave the apartment a once-over. I hope it hadn't just been an excuse to get me to call. Jesus fucking Christ, AksysGames. Hi, this is Samantha. He's Sam, it's Jake. Oh, hello, Jake. How's the investigation going? Swimmingly, I trust. Yeah, about that. Can I get permission to investigate Mary Taylor's apartment? There's a cop here, and he doesn't seem too friendly. Oh, of course, of course. I'll make sure the officer at the apartment is appraised of the situation. So, try going back a little later, okay? You can count on me. Great. I'll be able to get into Mary's apartment. Right around. There's just two random middle-aged or older women. You know, typical Japanese older women. The apartment building was plain but clean, the subtle kind of expensive. They were nice digs, but they didn't jive with the person I'd started to see Mary as. A single cop guarding the door of the girls' room. A quiet snore drifted out from under the cap covering his eyes. Sleeping on the job there! Hey, buddy boy! I can't talk to the cop. It's the same cop! In the NES game, they have 3 different, the character profiles for the cops. One of which doesn't get used in the Game Center CX episode. Well, I guess all cops are the same, you know. I was standing in Mary Taylor's room. I needed a break. I'd hope I'd find it here. "45 square feet. That was probably listed in tatami mats. With a dining room and a kitchen, and it looked like Mary had been a pretty clean person. A lot of the bar hostesses I've known were pretty messy, but it looked like Mary had been a borderline OCD. You know, you just can't be neat anymore without someone thinking that you have a condition. No, let me tell you about OCD. It's called obsessive-compulsive disorder for a reason. It's because you're obsessively compulsively doing something. Just having something look neat is not OCD. It's when you notice that, like, the carpet's been worn away from vacuuming way too many times because, you know, obsessive compulsive. Oh, that was full of coals, all neatly hung and folded. And about half of them are pretty doggy. The kind of thing you wouldn't see outside of a downtown gin mill? Other half, well, they wouldn't have looked out of place on Yoko. Well, she's a hostess at a hostess bar, so she has to have, like, fancy clothes. I didn't think someone's taste could vary so much. See, this is when they, like, try and make it in America, and there's things that we don't have in America, and then, like, oh, how are I gonna describe this? An impressive vanity, complete with a three-sided mirror. Three-sided? Oh, okay. 3 mirrors. Like a triptych. Drawers are full of jewelry and cosmetics arranged in neat rows and columns. Never been good with lady products, and it dawned on me that I didn't have the first idea of what I was looking for, because I was a dude, and you know, I'm not supposed to know about that. But of course a woman has to know all about man things, because she's expected to go to the store and buy them. Most of the shelf space is taken up by fashion magazines, a celebrity, and celebrity rags, but I noticed a few medical books. Sitting next to the bookshelf, I found a stack of business cards. I only had to glance at the titles to know they were way over my head. There are a few dog-eared pages that seem to be on heart conditions, but I couldn't be sure. Mary's business card had East Bar in the totally not Shinjuku place. Trapudio district written on them. The East Bar must have been where she worked. It would have fit. If we were about to know her at the bar, it might give me the break I was looking for. More than 10 pairs of high-heeled shoes neatly stacked. They were about as diverse as their clothes. All of the nice ones looked like they'd been collecting dust for a while. Found an accessory rack on a shelf above it, and a rack. A rack. On an accessory box on a shelf above the A rack. The accessory box looked like Mary emptied her purse out into the box. I found some coins, pocket tissues, and her patient registration card. The patient registration card was on top of the other stuff. Had she been using it a lot lately? Patient registration card for the Eternus University Hospital. According to the issue date on the card, it was over 10 years old. She'd been going to the hospital a lot, so when there was bound to tell me about her. I'd gone over her apartment with a fine-tooth comb. I didn't think I was going to find anything else. It hadn't been a bust, though. I had 2 places I knew Mary had frequented before her death. Hospital in the East Bar. Probably gonna get a lot more out of the hostess place. Hope her co-workers might be able to give me something to go on. If the bar didn't pan out, I was gonna be in trouble. I wonder if they switched this from what it was. I'd have to check. Stepped off the crowded streets of downtown Aspicio and into the East Bar. Only a few days earlier would have been Mary Taylor walking in through that door instead of me. It was a classy joint, but I remember I couldn't spot a single customer. Perfect. I ambled up to the bar and pulled out a cigarette. The bartender gave me a half-hearted nod. I'd smoke my cigarette? I know how to roleplay. The bartender seemed like the kind of guy who was particular about his customers and everything else. I knew how to play his game, play it cool, get on his good side. Once we were pals, start asking questions. It's a real classy joint, nothing flashy, just lots of velvet and rich mahogany. It was a pretty cozy place to boot, even if it'd been full. I didn't think there would have been more than 10 people or so. The shelves behind the bar were packed full of liquor, almost all of it the good stuff. No bathtub hooch here. The bathtub hooch is the good stuff because it doesn't have like a cap on the amount of alcohol in it. Like, your bathroom hooch could be like 200 proof. I mean, probably kill you, but you know, it'd be good before you died, I guess. This kind of place is pretty rare nowadays, makes me a little sad. I mean, unless they actually change it from a hostess club to a bar. Considering the other changes they made, I wouldn't be surprised. Been a long time since I'd seen a counter like that, rich, dark wood polish to look like glass. The man was cleaning a glass and doing his level best to look aloof and refined. He was making an effort to ignore me, but every so often I would catch him glancing clandestinely in my direction. I figured he was playing the proper bartender, waiting for me to make the first move. Maybe Saburou is gay. But I think he has a son, or at least a grandson, so he did something at some point. Because that's what Daedalus on the Switch is about, is a relative of his. Like a grandson or something. Gonna make me say it, aren't you? Business is poor. Are you happy now? Easy there, friend. I could get used to a joint like this. Then you're one of a shockingly small number of individuals who still possess a modicum of taste. Glenn Morabrangi? On the rocks, I assume. On the rocks means he likes it kind of weak sauce. Miss Taylor, yes, she was previously under my employ as a hostess, a nice, polite girl. She came from quite a respectable family. Prior to her tenure at this establishment, she was employed at a Fortune 500 company. Must confess, I do not know why Miss Taylor chose to leave her previous employer. Perhaps because I have that rare quality of common decency, and as such, mind my own business. It was her heart. I believe you are paid to be a hostess and not to gossip. I'm sure you've noticed he's the only customer right now. Who else exactly am I supposed to host? About her. I only just heard the news. Still can't believe she was killed. She's too nice of a girl to get stuck in a place like this, you know? Looked like Mary's death had hit her pretty hard. These two must have been tight. Told me once that she had some kind of serious heart condition. Used to go to a big university hospital or something. The patient registration card I found in Mary's apartment, it had to be the hospital Kim was talking about. She mentioned much that she'd been fired because of something to do with her condition. She was a friendly girl. A lot of our customers came by just to see her. In fact, there was one man who came by almost every day. I think they were probably sweethearts. Business hasn't been very good lately. Even our regular customers don't visit us as often as they used to. What? You want to know about little old me? I was like Mary's mentor here. He was a college student, I think. He was pretty crazy about her. Came almost every day. He had a kind of boring name, though. Trent. I think it was. Mary did seem to like him. Trent is, like, not a boring name. Like, if it was, like, John or, Jacob or, you know, that's, like, a boring name. Trent is, like, not a name you hear quite often. Oh, I know. I just remembered. An older man had been visiting her recently. He looked very professional. It wasn't unusual for rich, important men like that to be Mary's regulars, but he was the only one she would talk to privately. She almost always looked upset after he left, though. Well, it looked like that was about all the information I'd be able to bring out of Kim. Okay, so they're bringing in the older I'm your father aspect. Sorry if I bothered you, ma'am. Don't worry about it, sugar. Why do you come by? Why Why do you come by and see me sometime? Why don't you come by and see me sometime? It's AksysGames, of course. I pulled out a cig and thought about what to do next. What did I want to do? Let's see. I guess we go to the, hospital? Patient registration card I found in Mary's apartment was for the Eternus University Hospital. The Eisai Haramatsukoi Hospital. I doubt she was a patient then, and likely a frequent one. I put the hospital next on my walking tour of Aspicio. A gust of wind tore the smoke from my cigarette as I walked up to the front of the Eisai Haramatsukoi University Hospital. That's just about as ridiculous as these names get. I wanted to start asking around right away, but I had a feeling that bothering people at a hospital would only get me in trouble. Figured I should probably talk to a doctor first and get the go-ahead before I started nosing around. Let me just start nosing around. The hallways were clean and nearly empty. It was like a lot of things, but mostly it was just big. The lobby was full of people of all ages, men and women. Every single one of them was in the room because something was wrong. I'd never felt exactly comfortable in hospitals. There were a few nurses behind the counter. I was sure they'd know who Mary's doctor had been. But getting them to spill the beans to a private dick like me was going to be another matter entirely. Maybe you should be like a not private dick. And maybe you should be an obvious dick. Wait, no, you already are an obvious dick. You want to know who Miss Taylor's doctor was? Excuse me, but who are you? I'm afraid I can't give that kind of information to just anyone. I'd had a feeling that was going to be the case, but I had a hunch that I knew how to get this person to open up. Oh, God, AksysGames, I fucking hate you. Okay. Hey, none of this is working. It's just fucking smoke in a hospital. You know, it's perfectly fine to smoke in a hospital, right? Just as I was about to light my cigarette, it dawned on me that might be frowned upon. I shoved it back into the pack and took a deep breath. I needed to wait until I had a chance to ask about Mary's doctor. The nurses at the desk barely had time to look up. The hospital might have looked full, but it was busy. I watched them over the top of an issue of US Weekly. Totally not like, what is it, Mainichi Shinbun? That was one of the nurses stand up. I looked like it was a break time for someone. Yeah, let's be a stalker. Doing my best not to look suspicious, I took my copy of Mainichi Shinbun under my arm and pretended to be looking for the bathroom. Girl brought a soda of some sort in the vending machine and sat down to read her book. Aside from her, the break room was almost empty. I only needed one glance at the cover of her book to know that she was reading Manhattan Blues. Totally, this game's totally set in America, yo. The latest Saburou Jinguuji mystery novel. You're gonna fucking use the name of the main character here? And, like, then translate the name away? What the fuck, Atlas? What the fuck? A mystery novel, huh? It was just the in I needed. Oh, Miss Taylor's doctor, I'm afraid I can't give that information to you. If anyone, I'm sorry. I had a feeling it was going to be the case. Ah. Take them out. Saburou Jinguuji, which is very obviously you can see they photoshopped it out. Really? You're a detective? Yes, ma'am, I am. Oh, it's true. Says Jinguuji Detective Agency on your card. You think you could tell me who Mary Taylor's doctor was, ma'am? This case could depend on it. Alright. I'm not supposed to talk about that sort of thing, but you're a detective. I'll be back in a minute. Her words were barely out of her mouth before she trotted off down the hall to return a couple minutes later. With a shy smile, she told me she'd been able to find out which ward Mary had gone to. Thank you, ma'am. You may have just given me the clues I'll need to solve the case. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm glad I was able to help. Do you think you might, like, go out to dinner with me sometime? Uh-oh. A woman asked me out on a date, and it's, like, dangerous and stuff because, ew. How dare women ask me on a date? Game, please. Relocation award. Then move? Mary's Ward sounds like it's out of a horror movie. I headed for Mary's Ward hoping to find some answers. Something about the antiseptic smell of the hospitals always puts me on edge, or maybe it's just because I can't smoke. I was starting to think I'd managed to get myself lost. I rounded the corner to find myself at the office for Mary's Ward. I could feel the eyes of the staff boring into me, but I couldn't really blame them. I hadn't had a smoke in more than an hour, and I was starting to get a little twitchy. I looked around, trying to figure out my next move. A sneering little rat of a doctor scuttled across the floor to stop me. Please give your patient registration card to the receptionist and wait for your turn. I'm not a patient. What did you want to do? Like, maybe cut back on the cigarettes? Just saying. She kind of looks like Sam without the glasses. Let's see, let's go talk to the doctor. Well, I'm sure you figured out that I'm a doctor here. I don't really see you need to know anything else. She wasn't going to make it easy, but I knew how to... Jesus fucking Christ. I'm sorry, who are you? I really can't discuss a patient with a stranger. I don't remember going to the hospital in the NES game. I don't think it was relevant. I think it was pretty much like the reason why the boyfriend kills her is because she was dumping him. Yeah, presenting your business card is in the NES game. My name's Saburou Jinguuji. I'm a detective. Pulled out my cards out of my pocket and handed it to her. I'm conducting an investigation that concerns Miss Taylor, and I have a few questions I was hoping you could help me with. Are you able to spare a few minutes? A detective? Oh, sorry for the confusion. My name is Sarah Travis, Dr. Travis. Unfortunately, I was not Mary's or Miss Taylor's doctor. Miss Taylor's doctor was Professor. Professor? Wouldn't he be Dr. Klein? It's just you talked to him, but he's out of the office today. Well, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. I'm sure you can answer some of my questions. I suppose you really should talk to the Klein, though. You know a lot more than I do. A relationship with Miss Taylor? You almost called Miss Taylor by her first name a second ago. Made me think you two might be close. You're right. I wasn't her doctor, but I ran into her a couple of times. She was so warm and friendly that we just started talking. Mary was suffering from a chronic heart condition. She'd been coming to the hospital for more than 10 years. I heard she'd undergone surgery for a condition at some point, but really beyond anything I know is just hearsay. You really should talk to the Professor Klein. Really just talk to him. I wouldn't be very professional of me to talk about a colleague. Unusual, I can't think of anything. I understand. Thank you very much for your time. If there's anything else I can do, please don't hesitate to come by again. Alright, let's see here. I think we've got everything. I don't bother me. Oh, fuck you. Gonna be all over the city following up on leads. Right, well, I can't think. I guess I just talk to these people again? Right, it won't let me talk to anyone. Apartment? Mary's door. There's a single cop. Okay. Might have missed something, because I'm out of leads. Use a rack. Box? Alright. Arc? Guess I'm gonna have to rough him up or something. For a moment, I felt like I was miles away from Aspicio from this case. Nothing around me but trees and leaves and forest. I was so lost in myself that I almost walked right past the crime scene. Over the years, a sort of mini Hooverville had grown up in the park. Most of the people just steer clear of it, and the cops seemed to have given up on trying to evict the homeless tenants. Huddled around a particularly dilapidated cardboard shack, I spotted fellows I'd spoken with the day before. Couldn't help but feel I wasn't going to have much more luck this time. This was just ducking. I knew they'd seen something, but it looked like I wasn't going to hear one word about it. I need to play my cards right. Oldenburg was the dent in their armor, but if I blew it, I pulled out a cigarette. Mr. Oldenburg, I'm not here to razz you, and I'm no copper. I know you're no snitch, and you don't want to be. But a girl's dead, and it sounds to me like you know something about that. You level with me, and I'll see you're kept out of it. I'm not asking much, just a couple words will do. Hey kid, you understand, don't you? The man looked like a real milquetoast, his eyes darting around the park every few seconds before landing on me frightened. Something had this fellow all balled up, but there was something almost like pleading in his eyes. He was giving me the evil eye, no doubt about it. I knew I wasn't going to get anything out of him. Right, I lit a cigarette. I was officially stumped. Those bums were a pack of impenetrable bastards. Still, I couldn't give up. They knew something. Hey, the food's here. Hey kid, you coming? Following Stevenson's lead, Tagger and Allison took off toward the north end of the park. I followed them and noticed other homeless people emerging from their shacks and boxes and moving in the same direction. Guess I follow them. Never seen anything like this before. I finally cut up the most of the many Hooverville residents had arranged themselves into a line. There were around 10 men and women in the head of the line, handing something out to the homeless people. I was on the north end of the park. The ground had been packed hard by thousands of feet, but the trees rose up on either side of me, like a forest clearing. Other people passing through the park looked at the line of homeless with disgust, pulling their children close as they quickened their pace. It wasn't an uncommon sight in Aspicio, but it always made me feel like a bit of a pill. They had just gotten used to the looks, but none of the homeless people seemed to notice the glares and sniffs of the other park patrons. They queued right up to take whatever it was that was going to be handed out. The whole line was nothing but smiling faces. As I got close, I could see that they were handing out food and clothes. I figured that they had to be some sort of volunteer group. They looked to be students, and one or two were choice pieces of, oh, fuck you. I knew they were undoubtedly on better terms with the homeless people than I was at the moment, but they seemed too busy to talk. Spotted Taggart and Oldenburg in line. I hoped that maybe the atmosphere would make them a little more responsive. What did I want to do? Talk. They give us food and stuff. They're very nice people. Excuse me, Mr. Oldenburg. Wait a minute. Hey, what the hell are you doing here? Are you coming or not? Aldenburg disappeared into the crowd of homeless people. Alright, Sherry, do some kind of outreach program from Eisai Haramatsuko University. I couldn't care less about where it comes from, as long as I can get some food. Excuse me, Mr. Taggart. Please don't. I don't know anything. I watched Taggart run off, wondering what could have scared him so much that he run away from food. And let's talk to the volunteers. They had their hands full with the line of homeless people. They weren't going to talk to me anytime soon. Blah, blah, blah. Let's go back to the hospital, since we know that they're the ones, handing out the food. Or not. Maybe I need to think some more. Time to murder my lungs. Perhaps later you can do some work. Heart condition. Eisai Haramatsuko Hospital. Let's see. Was it Kim? It was Kim. Wait, no, it was doctor. Professor Klein. Her job. East. Then that was Kim. Fortune 500. She'd been fired for her condition. Trant. Was professional? Aldenburg. It was nice. I think they might have changed the story because in Game Center CX, like, Arino pretty much well guesses like what was going on, like pretty early in the game. This case is a real mess, and if it was like any other case I'd had, it was going to get worse before it got better. The shattered pieces of this woman's life were starting to form a picture, but I wasn't liking what I was seeing. Something shadowy and indistinct, something dark and dangerous. Mary Taylor had gotten caught up in something serious. A boyfriend. I put my cigarette to my lips before I realized it had burned out long before. I let out a sigh and dropped it into the ashtray. It had been a long day, and I was staring down the barrel of another long one the next day. Just as I was reaching for my second cigarette, the office phone shattered the evening silence of the office. It was long before Yulia had answered the phone. The ring stopped and I lit my cigarette with shaking hands as my stomach twisted itself into a knot. That phone call was bad news. I knew it. As I took my first pull, I told myself I was worrying for nothing, and for a moment, I believed it. Saburou! The knot in my stomach cinched tight, cigarette smoke burned in my throat. Get in here now! Before she had even finished, I was out of my chair and through the door into the main office. There was no blood left in Yoko's face, and the fingers she had wrapped around the phone were white. What is it? It was the, totally not set in Japan police station. They were calling to inform me that Mr. Kingsley has been mugged. What? Is King okay? Miss Martin said he was sent to the hospital. It seemed that he was stable and not in serious condition, but she wouldn't tell me anymore. I see. I'm going to the hospital to check on King. Yes, sir. He was sent to the police hospital. Miss Martin and Mr. Lewis are attending to him. Got it. Yoko, you can go home early today. Get some rest for both of us. And be careful. Of course, sir. Make sure you take care as well. I gave Yoko a last nod of goodbye as I ran down the stairs, pulling my coat on. I had completely forgotten about the case. All I could think of was about King. To be continued. Alright, I'm going to stop the stream here. We've gotten like a good chunk of this done. I might stream the rest of it tomorrow. Let me save the state. Switch to powering down.
Powering down, Aruji-sama.
Okay, it pressed the buttons, but it didn't switch the scene. I'm gonna have to solve this. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining me. Shout out to Changeling Chain. Oh, wait.
Nice.
And down. I can't shout out if I am the bot.
That's why I do this. I want to inspire people. But yes.
Hold on, I can't send anything if I'm not connected. Just move that over there. There hopefully is audio on the clip. And shout out to Lexi Zone. I sound as if I don't know Lexi. Playing some Super Smash there. Okay, yeah, the clips are playing. I can see the little... You hear them, I don't. That's a pretty long clip.
Ah! I did it! I did it! Mario is really good. What the heck?
Anyway, thanks again. Take care, everybody. Happy Halloween. I will see you when I see you. Bye!